Today, I'm going to be sharing my bookish opinion that nobody asked for, but we're going to get into it. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. So, I have 5 bookish opinions I'm going to be sharing. Now, I don't know if they're popular or unpopular. They're just things I was thinking about, and I decided to share it. So, my first opinion is most books don't need a spin-off and 10 other books to go along with it. Let's use Treacherous Twins by Natisha Rayner. So anybody who's been watching my channel knows I love Natisha Rayner. I have done several book reviews on her books. But Treacherous Twins has 9 books. Now, it started out with Carried Away, which was about the twins. Then they went to book 2, where now they're triplets. Then they went to the dad. So within 3 books, you couldn't tell us about the dad? No. I think most books can really stop at 2. And if you got something else to say, maybe 3. But 9 books is pushing it. That's my opinion. Number 2. The arranged marriage trope is the worst trope ever. I hate it. Number 1, it takes women back 100 years. And number 2, is arranged marriage even a thing in Black culture? Heck no, it's not a thing. Because number 1, you're not going to get a Black woman to marry a man she's never met, don't know what he looks like, has never even talked to him because your dad says so for his business. Yeah, right. I think it is a horrible trope and it shouldn't even be a thing in urban fiction or urban romance, contemporary romance, any kind of book that has Black in front of it. It shouldn't be a thing. My opinion. Number 3, Black romance always needs drama and toxicity for a couple reasons. Number 1, because it's entertaining. And number 2, because we need to say that's toxic and that's drama. So I know I've heard lots of uh, people say, oh, so when I was 15, I used to steal my mom's books. I've read Fly Girl because it was in my mother's, book collection or in her library. And so for me, I have to consider that there are teens reading these books. Now, as adults, of course, we know that this is a book and, we know when it's toxic when we see it. But for those teens who are reading these books, they need to know that this is not good. Like, this is just for books. So I think it's super important that although we like the unhinged guy, but we like him in books. Nobody really wants a guy sneaking and peeping in your windows and showing up in places, he wasn't supposed to know you were there. So I think it's super important that we show it and that it's also called out. So now, with that being said, I also want to say the coldest winter ever is not the end all be all. It did not start urban fiction. It literally did not. There are so many urban fiction books prior to The Coldest Winter Ever. I think The Coldest Winter Ever is super popular because of Sister Souljah. Sister Souljah was super popular. She was an activist who wrote a book. And I think that is what made the book super popular, in addition to, granted, it is a good book. But I don't think that it is as good as everybody makes it seem, because the first thing they say is the coldest winter ever. There are so many other books that came out at that time that were just as good, if not better. I do believe that Terry McMillan showed us Black women in a way that we had never seen ourselves before, with Disappearing Acts, how Stella got her groove back, and the other super popular one. That was a movie that I can't remember right now. But I do honestly believe that Terry McMillan was the first person to show us was she was the first person to show us Black women in the way that we really were, not in the way that other people perceived us to be, and then put us on the screen or in a book or something to that effect. So kudos to Terry McMillan. I also feel like Ashley and Jaquavis modernized urban fiction, or street lit, whatever it is you guys call it. So, excuse me, prior to Ashley and Jaquavis, and not necessarily just Ashley and Jaquavis, because I feel like there were some other people added to the mix, like, for instance, Keisha Irving and Wadia Clark, Nikki Turner, Chinichi. There are so many of them. But I feel like they switched it over from that original urban fiction that I remember, which was like um, Donald Goings and what's his name? Slim somebody, something. Um, but they wrote a urban fiction that was 70-ish. It was like pimps, hustlers, prostitutes, and playing dice and hanging out in front of the corner and drinking and things like that. And I feel like Ashley and Jaquavis and Quan and Nikki Turner and just all these people brought it more into the future, where they were now talking about D boys and guys getting money and the nice cars and the big houses and different things like that. They just brought it up more to the future. So kudos to them, because I think that urban fiction would not be what it is today if it were not for that sect of people. So now for the future, I feel like the indie authors, if it were not for our current indie authors, urban fiction and urban romance would be dead. I believe that. The reason why I believe that is because, or maybe it has a little bit to do with the internet. Because I remember back when I used to read Ashley and Jaquavis and all of those people, um, there was no internet. So the only way I kind of knew who to read was the books that were circulating between different other people that I knew who read it. Somebody would find a book somewhere, somehow, and we would pass it around. That's probably why you never got your book back, because you pass it to somebody and they pass it to another person. Um, there literally was no internet. So, you know, when I went to the library, I already knew who I was looking for. So it wasn't like I could go to the library and say, "Hey, I'm looking for urban romance or street lit." They'd probably shoo me out of the library, because it had like a really bad reputation. So I'm on the bus, I got this book, and it's got the urban lit cover, and people are looking at me and looking at the cover of the book and looking at me and looking. So it was looked down upon. At this point, we are looking at urban fiction in a whole new way. not just urban fiction, but urban romance. And then you have urban fantasy. We also have, what's it called? Not just fantasy, the paranormal. So it has taken on different shapes, and I think that that is due to the indie authors, and I love it. Even though I don't read paranormal or fantasy or anything, but I still like it. I love the fact that it's been expanded. I took a trip to Barnes and Noble one day last week, and I just wanted to browse. I was not in there to buy any books. I wanted to browse. I wanted to see what I could find, what I could just, you know, look up. That's part of my thing, buying books, reading books, and looking for books. So now I have a third hobby, which is looking for books, just browsing. And I was so disappointed. I left Barnes and Noble saying to myself, I will never spend my money with Barnes and Noble again. Um, I have some footage. I'm going to show it, and it's horrible. They're the only authors that you come across are authors who are already popular. So if you don't know who you're looking for, you cannot just really browse in Barnes and Noble. The Black book section is literally about one shelf as big as this one behind me. It's called Black Voices, and that is literally their entire Black African American section. So if you've got an entire store of mostly others, and that's what I'm just going to say, others, how am I supposed to find a Black book? Like, especially if I don't know, how am I going to know? There are rows and rows and shelves, and every, I don't know, maybe every 50, 60 books, you might find something other than. And it frustrated me to no end. I could not find anything. I found one book, and I was in Barnes and Noble for about 45 minutes. I found one book that I was not familiar with, and that one book that happened to have turned facing me. So it wasn't like in the shelves next to another book. But not only that, I was looking for a specific book. I just wanted to see how much King of Ashes was. They literally did not have the King of Ashes, and I would have had to order it. The last time I went to Barnes and Noble, I went to go get Kwan's book. What's it called? Something of the heist. Something about heist. I literally had to order that book, and it was new. So why is it that I go in Barnes and Noble and I cannot find the book, and the book that I do want, I have to order it? It same thing happened. I took my daughter to Barnes and Noble. There was a new book coming out that she wanted, and she reads very diversely, which I do not, but she does. And we had to order that book. It was this, what's it called? It was a cartoon, but they have these like picture books that they make every so often. So I got her one back when she was maybe 9 or 10 years. So maybe this is like a 10-year thing, and they made another book. She wanted the book. We went to Barnes and Noble. We had to order the book. It's crazy. So yeah, the Barnes and Noble will never get my money because it doesn't make sense. If I have to go online to order the book, I may as well buy it from somewhere because it's going to be cheaper than Barnes and Noble, and they're going to deliver it to me. Why do I even need to leave my house for that? So I felt like that's a waste of gas and time. Now, excuse me for that little rant. I'm going to go back to what I was originally doing, which is my opinion. If you don't get the correct narrator for a book, then you have a terrible book, no matter how good it is. So, what I do is if I want to listen to a book, I listen to it through Alexa because I'm used to listening to it through Alexa. So, I don't have to worry about not liking whoever's actually narrating the book, unless, of course, it is somebody that I don't mind hearing. And I am familiar with a couple of narrators that I do like Jacoby DM. There's this other lady, what's her name? Rachel Rabbit, something, I don't know, whatever her name is. I know it when I hear it. But there's a couple people that I like. Other than that, I can't do it, especially if it's a British book and then the person has a British accent or a Jamaican accent or whatever the accent is. I can't deal with it. So those books are easier for me to just listen to Alexa. I also think that the TikTok hype books, the only reason why people hype them is because they don't want to be left out. I feel like their favorite, whoever, book talker, YouTuber, Bookstagram, whatever it's called, people, they enjoy that person. And if they say the book is good, they're going to jump on that. It's not because the book is so good, because even with Kennedy Ryan, Before I Let Go was not that good to me. It just wasn't. It was okay. It was super hard to read. It took me forever to get into the book. And when I did get into it, I felt like it was okay. Like it just wasn't that good. And, like I said, I'm not really a contemporary fiction girl. So I did enjoy This Could Be Us. And I did enjoy Can't Get Enough. But Before I Let Go was the first book. And I think they hyped that book more than they hyped the other two. And they hyped it so much that I literally thought I wanted to read it. And when I read it, I was a bit disappointed, most definitely. Even like just so many books that I hear people like overhyping, and then when I read the book, I'm just kind of like, you know, it's okay. It's not good the way they say it's good. Now, reading is subjective, so of course that could be a couple of different things. That could be, just because I have different tastes from the person who said it was so good. It could be because I'm not really a contemporary fiction girly. It could be several other different things that I can't think of right now. But the way they hype it up, they make it seem like everybody's gonna love it, and it's just not true. I stay away from the super popular books until they're probably not as popular anymore. If I have not already tried to read it or read the synopsis and find the synopsis interesting, I'm not going to make myself read anything that just isn't, you know, isn't good or doesn't connect with me. So I really and honestly do not know how many opinions I gave, but those are some of my opinions. I have many. Let me know what you think in the chat. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to do all of the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, see you soon.